What is up, amigos, and welcome back to Dream Chaser Travels Latin America. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Chase. I'm a 19-year-old who loves travel, the Latin American culture, and the Spanish language. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 7 reasons why you need to move to Mexico. So let's get started. Reason number 1 is the people, la gente. The Mexican people are some of the most caring people you will ever meet. I had the opportunity to stay in Isla Mujeres, Mexico, which is kind of near Cancun. It's an island off of Cancun, and I got to meet some great people there, super friendly people, and I also had the opportunity to go to a bigger city called Mérida, which is the capital of Yucatan, and I know many people are really interested in living in either Cancun or Mérida that look into moving to Mexico. And so those are 2 places that I got to experience and fall in love with. The people in both places were super caring, super friendly. Now those are the only 2 places I personally got to experience, but from everything I've read and people that I know there, the people are friendly all over Mexico. It's a little different depending on the city, but Mérida is a city of 1 million people, and everybody there was super friendly, super buenos dias, buenas tardes, very hola, hola, ¿cómo estás? That kind of thing. And also on the little island of Isla Mujeres, which is about 15,000 people, same experience there. Hola, buenos dias. And this was during COVID. This was during COVID where everybody was wearing a mask and everybody was a little more timid, but they were still super friendly. And so I think without COVID, without the global pandemic, I think the people would be even more friendly. So I had nothing but good experiences with the people there. Super friendly, just great people, get to know the people, and truthfully, that's probably the number 1 reason why you should move to Mexico, just to get to know new people. You know, it's gonna be different than what you experience in the United States or Canada or wherever you currently live. You know, people are friendly everywhere, but if you live in New York City and you move to Mérida, Mexico, you're gonna see a total difference in how the people interact. You know, you can walk down the street in New York City and people are just gonna be on their phones looking away. You walk down the street in Mérida, Mexico, hola, buenos dias, ¿cómo estás? That's what you're gonna get the whole time. So the second one is the cost of living. The cost of living in Mexico is not gonna be the cheapest in the world. There's other countries where you can move with a great cost of living, but compared to what you might be paying if you live in the US, Canada, Great Britain, it's gonna be totally different. So much cheaper, better quality for the price. You're gonna see a huge difference. This will be strongly noted in housing, electric, food, groceries, really anything. For example, I paid a little more in Isla Mujeres because I had a great view and stuff, but in Mérida, for example, you can get a place near the city center, like a 1-2 bedroom apartment, for $300, $400 a month. That's all. That's your rent. And in the US, an apartment, depending on where you live in the US, I don't know about Canada because my experience is in the US because that's where I'm from, but in the US, a 1-2 bedroom apartment in New York City is gonna be, I don't know, $1,000, $1,500, $1,800 a month. So look right there at the difference. New York City to Mérida, Mexico, huge difference just in rent. Now electricity, I know people that only pay about $20 a month in electric, and that's running an air conditioning. That's with turning on lights, you know, and it gets hot in certain parts of Mexico, and still, you know, $20, $30, $40, your electricity will be covered. And so that's a huge difference from the US too. Canada, totally different from Canada, totally different from Great Britain. It's just so much cheaper. You can live so much cheaper. Food is another thing. I mean, I would eat out almost every single meal every day and not even spend $10 US. Not even spend, you know, 200 pesos, $10 US on food. I would have breakfast, lunch, and dinner for $10. Usually less. So for breakfast, I could go out and I could get, you know, like a quesadilla or something like that, you know, a big old big quesadilla and maybe pay 60 cents US for that. Get a drink, maybe pay 40 cents for that. And maybe I would get a taco or something on the side. And I would walk away spending $1.50 for breakfast. And I would be super full. Super full. So it's a totally different experience. Now, of course, your cost on all of these things is going to vary depending on which city you choose to live in Mexico. For example, if you're like, oh, I want a big city, I'm going to go to Mexico City. Well, your prices are probably going to be a little higher than if you say, oh, I want to go to, I don't know, Guanajuato or somewhere like that. Because, big city Mexico, the center of Mexico, it's going to be more expensive. If you choose to go to a tourist area, like if you stay in a nice area near the beach in Cancún or Puerto Vallarta on the west coast, your prices are going to be a little more expensive than if you're in, let's say, Oaxaca or Veracruz or somewhere like that. And so that's something to keep in mind too. How much do I have in my budget? Where should I go? Because everywhere you go is going to be different in pricing and in everything. Mexico is just such a diverse country with so many different things that, you have so many options. Like, okay, I love this, I'm going to go here. I love this, I'm going to go here. I hate being like this, I'm going to go here. That brings me to weather, because some people like really hot and humid weather. Some people like it to get cool at nights. And so I personally like tropical weather. I love tropical weather. So the two places I was at, near Cancun, which is, beautiful, 80 degrees Fahrenheit average year-round. And it was incredible. I was in the ocean on December 5th, swimming in the ocean, sweating. So it's all about what you want. If you choose Mérida, Mexico, the second place I was, is going to be very hot. Right now, I think the high here in, what are we in, May? I think the highs in May and April, May and June in Mérida are like 103 every day, 104, 102. So if you don't like hot, you probably don't want to choose Mérida. But I like to sweat. I like to be hot. I like tropical weather. And so that's the region I chose. And that's over in the Yucatan, Quintana Roo region. And if you want hot weather year-round, that's the place to go. Of course, there's other places like Mexico City or anywhere kind of central Mexico. You have Querétaro, other places around there. If you want, pretty warm throughout the year, pretty warm, you may get down 50s, 60s some, but it's not gonna be like 80s year-round, but it's pretty nice and cool at night, then you wanna go to central Mexico. Some places in the kind of the west coast also can get chilly. And so you have choices. It's important to remember you have choices. Don't go to Cancun, if you burn up in the summer in the States and you hate summer in the States. Don't go to Cancun because it's gonna be summer and more humid all year. So that's not the place to go. You probably wanna go to Mexico City or somewhere like that where it gets a little cooler. Next, that brings me to food and culture. So food and culture, once again, Mexico's a big country. So it's gonna be different depending on where you choose to go in Mexico. You could travel from Tijuana, near California, all the way through Mexico, all the way to Guatemala, and you're going to see different cultural things, different foods in every state, every city you're in. Certain cities in Mexico have their own traditional foods. And so I'll give an example of this. I was near Yucatan, Quintana Roo the whole time. And so what they had there were called marquesitas. It's like a dessert wrapped up, that they'll put like, it's like cheese and banana and things like that, kind of like with a waffle cone type thing rolled around it. Not quite a waffle cone, but similar. And you just eat them. I thought that was normal for Mexico. Well, I was watching a video the other day, and someone who lives in Puerto Vallarta went to, the Quintana Roo region, and they said, oh, we have marquesitas here. I've not had marquesitas in so long because we can't get them in Puerto Vallarta. And so that's just one example where I didn't even realize, but marquesitas were just typical of my region, the region I was in. And so that's important to figure out, okay, what kind of foods do I like? I love this, I love that. Now, throughout all of Mexico, you're gonna find tacos, you're gonna find quesadillas, you're gonna find all kinds of stuff. You're gonna find enchiladas. So, that's kind of standard, no matter where you're at. but the seasonings or the flavors in those things are gonna be different. Mexico City is probably gonna have a variety of everything, whereas, you know, Cancún, Quintana Roo, the state of Quintana Roo, or the state of Yucatan might not have a typical taco of Mexico City. So that's important too. Do you like a wide variety of foods? What kind of foods do you like? What kind of flavors do you like? Do you like chile, salsa to put on your stuff? Do you like, so that's really important, because even in Mérida, where I was, they have these tacos there where they put this red onion on it, okay? And it's so good, it's so good. It's called cochinita pibil, and it's really good. I love it, but you're not gonna get that in Chiapas, or you're not gonna get that in Veracruz, because that's typical of Yucatan. And so it's important to keep that in mind as well. But the food and culture throughout all of Mexico is incredible. It's gonna be different, so much different than what you see in the US or Canada or wherever you're looking from. So keep that in mind. The next thing is its proximity to the US, to Canada, so close. And the closer something is, means you have more of a chance of getting a cheap ticket. So maybe you want to go visit family back in Minnesota. Well, you're probably going to find a cheap ticket back to Minnesota. So Mexico is so different, such a different culture, like I mentioned, but it's only a $200 flight away, $150 flight away, depending on where you live, maybe $400 flight away, but it's going to be much cheaper. So the proximity to the US is great because you also stay on a similar time zone to all your family if you're from the US or Canada. So that's just another reason Mexico is a great place. Next thing is the safety. Now, many people hear that and they go, Mexico, safe? Well, that's probably the people that believe all the news headlines that they see. Tourists killed in Cancun, Mexico. 5 people killed by drug dealers in Guadalajara. Yes, there are dangerous places in Mexico. But when you see tourists killed in Cancun, Mexico, read more than just the headline. Read that tourist was drunk and walked up and took pictures of a gang. Different. Just because you go somewhere does not mean you're in danger. In fact, I felt safer in Isla Mujeres walking at night than I do in certain parts of my home city here in Tennessee, where I live. Very safe area here in Tennessee. But I felt safer walking around certain parts at night in Isla Mujeres, Mexico, than I do here in my city in Tennessee. So don't believe all the headlines. Do not believe all the headlines, because the headlines lie a lot. Clickbait, clickbait, clickbait. That's the goal of the headlines. Can dangerous things happen to you in Mexico? Like I said, yes. You have to watch out depending on where you're at. There are barrios in Mexico City that you should not enter. But there's also places in Mexico City that are great places, safe places. So don't believe all the headlines about Mexico. Now, I'm not saying that you'll never encounter danger, but at least for me, in my 4 months of experience, 5 months of experience almost, I never felt in danger at all. At all. Because the truth is, Mexico is not that dangerous if you're not involved in drugs. If you're involved in drugs, watch out. But if you're not, and you're just minding your own business, and you're not walking around all flashy with your phone out, you know, looking at your phone, oh yeah, I'm all flashy, I'm from America, I'm from the United States, should I say, then you're probably gonna be fine. You're probably gonna be fine. And last but not least, this is one of my favorite things about living in Mexico, is the laid-back lifestyle. In the US, especially in big cities, go, 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 work, work, work. That's all we have time for, right? Because that's what we've been trained and raised to do. We just work. We just work. We go, go, go. I got to run this kid to this practice. I got to run this kid to this concert. But in Mexico, you have time for friends. You have time to relax. It's just different. It's just different. Now, maybe in the US, you do have a very laid-back lifestyle. But in the US, I feel like I have a pretty laid-back lifestyle. But Mexico just has a different feeling. Such a different feeling. And so, I mean, for example, you're gonna see people out working so hard, working construction for 12 hours, 10 hours. But guess what they're gonna be doing that night? They're gonna be hanging out with their family. They're gonna be out drinking a soda, eating tacos with their family, because that's what's important to them. They're able to relax. They're not as, oh, I've gotta be on time, I gotta work, I gotta get the perfect number of sleep, perfect number of hours of sleep. Because that's just not how life is there. Once again, I'm sure that's different depending on where you're at. I never lived in Mexico City. I never lived in some of those big cities. So I can only give you what I experienced. But in both Isla Mujeres and Mérida, super laid back lifestyle. I walked into the Zócalo, the main plaza in Mérida, every evening pretty much while I was there. And people were there and just enjoying an ice cream with friends. And this is during COVID too. So I can't imagine without COVID what that would be like. I'm sure that Zócalo is full of people. But yeah, just enjoying ice cream, maybe people shining their shoes. It's just a different culture, just a different lifestyle. So the laid backness of life there is just one of the greatest parts of living in Mexico. And in my opinion, one of the biggest reasons why you need to move to Mexico. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you like this content, just subscribe, because I'm going to be giving a lot more content about Latin America or other places you can live in Latin America, and more about Mexico. Thanks for watching. I hope this video is beneficial to you. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, or you can email me. My email should be in the description as well. And I'll be glad to answer any questions you have about my experience living in Mexico or anything that I mentioned in this video. Thanks a lot for tuning in. And something I say at the end of every video: always chase your dreams, siempre persigue tus sueños.